Yeah, he ran around some. I don't know if he got any reps. We're just seeing how it was, but he's got a chance. So.
That help your pass rush considerably when he seems like a guy that.
Well, if he plays like he did at Temple, that was the best game he'd ever played. So, unfortunately, he went down. And we're a little healthier there, so we'll see by the end of the week.
Whip, are you comfortable with the run pass ratio that you guys have going right now? Or would you in the past your teams have run more? Is that something you'd like to?
We'd like to, but I think that was a combination of Bowling Green scoring and the plan we had, and then Marquise fumble in the first carry of the second half.
Yeah, I didn't even necessarily mean so much Bowling Green, but just the season as a whole.
Well, we're maybe, I don't know. We're getting the ball to Tajay on some different ways that kind of account for a little bit of a run thing. We'd like to be more like Florida International, where at the end of the game, if you get to that point, but we're moving the ball, and it felt like we had some things there last week. But I probably should run it more. I think it helps our offensive line tackles, and that's more of an emphasis this week.
Are you still waiting for running backs to carve out their own role, or do you have a pretty good idea of what to expect from them?
Well, it's hard when I only called like 12 runs the first 3 quarters. We didn't have the ball in the third quarter, which that was the plan to come back, and the big focus was, hey, got a little momentum, defense got an interception, let's take it down and score, and then we can mix it, and then all of a sudden it's, we fumble it, and then it's, next thing you know, Pops has a great kickoff return, and we don't have the ball. It's like 2 minutes left in the quarter, and you're down 28 points. So, but no, those guys are all doing it. I like the way they practice tonight.
Is it something if you were in a situation you had a lead later in the game, you could use them more than you have
Florida International, or be a little bit more balanced, and what our plan was against them, try to, probably run a little bit more, but the pass was working pretty well, and they really couldn't. We just kicked it around in the red zone was the big problem.
You've had to play catch up so many times. It seems like the other team scores first most often. You kind of get into that mode. How much different would the offense look if you were kind of in that where you're controlling, or if you're in the position that Bowling Green was, or like you said, if you're in that
14-0 against Florida International, so that's, not saying because you're ahead you're going to win, but we also played Temple. We're down 14-0 in Notre Dame, so we kind of had it both ways. But yeah, you'd always like to be ahead. We're not trying to get behind. That's not the game plan. So I don't, but each game's different. You don't know what's going to happen.
Is Jamal at a point where health-wise and building back game stamina-wise that you could, if you were ahead, kind of use him for a lot of runs late, or is he the guy you'd go to?
He had more snaps, and he was better tonight. His body was better tonight. So his knee and everything else, and I thought they were all better tonight.
How much of it do you put on the offensive line? I know we talked about play calling, but how much do you kind of look to those guys to help out a little bit more?
Well, yeah, it's a combination of things. And they're playing way better than we did this time last year, and they're as I said, it wouldn't matter if we threw for 300, ran for 200. We only scored 4 touchdowns. Just Pops had to 1. We got to score more touchdowns. It's really what it comes down to. So I don't care which way. So we'll see how they play us.
Has Pop been everything that you thought he would be as a kick returner?
Well, I think he's like a lot of the young guys that you see that they have talent, but there's more a consistency level that miss some cuts, and then guy that's gotten to work, and all of a sudden you can see his athleticism come through. I think Marquise a work in progress, but he's got talent, and Andy Isabella's got some talent, and Lee Moses, those guys, but it's a different level, and it takes some time to kind of get that, and maybe those other guys will show, but they've got enough ability, and going against our guys that we just felt like where we were would see what they can do.
Even with, like you said, the missed cuts things, to have a kid that young make a play like that, what does it kind of do for him moving forward to see that, hey, I brought one back and
Well, I think he's a kid that's got confidence, you know, and he's, you know, I think it helps that team. And if they stay on their blocks and do what Coach Michaels has asked them to do, there's a chance for big plays. And you know, you see that coming a little bit, you know, we're pretty good on kickoffs, and all of a sudden we pop on returns. That's field position game, you know. Still doesn't, you know, we got to get a couple takeaways. You know, the field position thing is getting a lot of yards, but not really as many touchdowns as we need.
You mentioned earlier that obviously you like to run the ball in the fourth quarter, ideally. And last year, Lorenzo Woodley had probably his best game of his career against Penn State. Is that still a role that he has on this team, or has things changed?
He's got certain plays. You know, we kind of said these are the plays in practice. We're not practicing as long, but they're getting those kind of run schemes. You know, so you know that kind of we'll see as it goes. They practiced good tonight.
Fro had the elbow sleeve. He said he got that nicked up at the end. Is he throwing all right with that? Is that
he threw well, threw good. They practiced good tonight, real good, better. You know, they were better. I mean, they've been good. They were practiced good last week, so I have no issues. You know, we got to play a little bit better, and I'm just hoping that being here will be, I don't know, proof in the pudding, whatever you want to say. You know, we just seem to play better here. That's traditionally been the way it's been, you know. So we're hoping it just stays that way. So.